Hey, you guys, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. It's
Hello.
90s now, as you just heard. Kelly, Sharon, and Adam. How are you guys?
Hey, we're good, you?
No complaints.
Wait till I get to our listener mail this week.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, we've got a mailbag feature. Yay.
Yeah, so that'll be thrilling later on in the show. I'm super excited about it, I have to tell you.
Oh, very good. Is it new? Is it an
New.
old pal?
New. Well,
Wow.
a couple of new messages from some people that we know, but a very stunning one, if you will.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
hear that.
You watch it. We got a lot to unpack, as they say. Adam says he wants to talk about Mary J, so we'll do that and the whole Billboard Awards.
Yeah. It's a quick insert I need to mention.
Well, I wish you had mentioned it last week, so that way I would have remembered that the show was on. That would have helped me.
Guess who realized that the show was on when he accidentally tuned into the show on Sunday?
Yeah, amazing. Hey, we talked about that. We talked about the Billboard Awards weeks ago on the show, and it's almost like in my mind, it's like it's
We
wrapped
forgot
up
about it.
totally. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Sorry, I'm hearing noises and I'm thinking it couldn't be one of my dogs, and yet it is.
I thought it might have been your right knee.
It could. Maybe that's why I'm confused. We're going to talk about Winona Judd because she will play on. We've got some, a bit of surprising information about the Gallagher brothers that actually shouldn't be surprising at all. A new record label means that, it's another venture for P. Diddy and another name. Yeah. Name change even. So we'll get into that. We got Kelly's trivia, got a 90s rewind coming up too. That'll take us back to the very beginning of our favorite decade. And there's a new Metallica fan in the world. Hang on, really?
Was that your left knee, Sharon?
I guess so. Yeah, I talk to my knees now. So this new Metallica fan made his debut at a Metallica concert. This is when a woman named Joyce at a show in Brazil went into labor. They brought her backstage. She had the baby during Enter Sandman. And on we go. Now, the story gets better. But sidebar for a second. The fact that on her social media post, she sort of alluded to the idea that who thought this could happen? She was 39 weeks pregnant.
And she went to the show.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people would have thought that could happen at that stage of your pregnancy. Anything can happen, like babies being born, which is exactly what happened. But even better than that, after giving birth to her brand new baby boy at a Metallica show, one member of Metallica made a phone call. James Hetfield called them to congratulate them. Isn't that amazing?
Pretty sick. Yeah.
That's like the host of the best party in town calling to make sure that you had a good time and a good baby.
Exactly.
So they've got a bouncing baby boy, and nowhere in sight is Sandman a middle name, according to what we read, right? But you never know. Maybe James or Lars or Kirk or Robert might be featured as a middle name. We'll see.
I talked about this story on my radio station that I was on this weekend, even though it's not a rock station, but this is such a universal story of who goes to a concert and, has this transpire. But I actually told my audience at the end, I said, if you're looking for a way to make sure baby arrives quickly around your due date, I'm like, Buffalo, New York, they'll be here in late August. So that's the closest place to us in Montreal. So I think Metallica should start promoting that they induce labor.
That would work. The other fun thing about, it's not fun, about James Hetfield is that on the radio station where I work, which is down the hall from where Kelly works, we are a rock station. So any Metallica news is news for us. But when it comes to James Hetfield being honest and open about his feelings, I'm not sure that the genre of music in the heavier side of things for rock and roll allows for that sort of openness. So it was an important message that he recently made, and it made all the rounds of audio clippage in the world, where he shared that he admitted that sometimes he has self-doubt. and that the guys in the band support him all the way. So what is important, I think, in my opinion, is that it's a nice message for sure, to be honest like that. He did this at a concert. So on stage sort of just opened his heart a little bit and said, I have a tough time sometimes, but my brothers in the band help me out. I think it's really important for people to hear that even the perceived tough guys have a hard time, and that they know that it's important to talk about it. So good on James Hetfield for being honest and sharing his feelings.
And that's like a testament to, I think, his evolvement, if you will, as a human, because his evolution. Yeah. Because I don't think 20 years ago he would have said that.
Oh, probably not. I think 20 years ago he would have drank his feelings away.
I thought you were going to say punched us in the face.
And that.
Yeah.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my feelings. So that's good. Tough guy makes good. And he's the guy that makes the phone call to say congratulations on your new baby.
It's funny because when I read that part, it's not that I wouldn't have thought he would have made that call, because I would have thought, he would have thought it was cool, but I felt like that was like more of a Lars thing, maybe.
Well, you know what? James Hetfield is a dad to, I think, at least three.
Including Castor Oil.
Castor Hetfield. So he knows, I think, what it's like to go down that road. I'm not sure if his wife had any of their kids at a show.
Imagine she's like, I just want this out. And so they start playing
Turn that racket down. I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty solid start. Let's what do you think, trivia, Cal? You got me?
Ready?
I think we're ready.
90s. Now to trivia.
Bing bong.
Bang.
One of my favorite parts of our show, when Adam and Sharon don't get things right.
Oh, that's not supportive at all.
Mean.
So this one is under the pop culture banner of the flashy cards.
Okay.
This is like fighting salmon color. I'm not really a fan. Yeah. Which slammin' 90s phrase was accompanied by a hand gesture? Sharon loves those. A hand gesture using your thumbs and index fingers to form a W.
Whoa, say that again.
So which slammin' 90s phrase was accompanied by a hand gesture using your thumbs and index fingers to form a W?
Sharon.
Go.
Word to your mother.
I know Vanilla Ice was popular, but maybe not that popular.
Not that slamming.
That was slamming, but incorrect.
Was it?
Oh, close.
Really?
That would have been a great guess. Whatever. Yeah.
And people would do the hand gesture? I've never seen that or heard that ever.
I didn't either. If we did that, we'd probably have, people would, slow down and give us a lift, maybe.
I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop using it now.
Okay. As you should. All right. This next one under the sport banner.
Ooh.
I don't think I asked this one last week. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which NFL team ended a 14-year absence from the playoffs in 1997?
A 14-year absence.
Yeah, so they had not been in the NFL playoffs for 14 years, and then
Sharon.
1997. Watch out.
Sharon.
Go.
Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, close. No, actually not close at all even. Adam.
I was about to say the Miami Dolphins.
You are close. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, very good.
Do you remember, Sharon? And I'm not sure if Adam would because he was little. But back in the day, Tampa Bay had like fighting salmon color, like that orangey kind of like fighty salmon. Like it was not
white
attractive
with
as a uniform. As a uniform, Sharon.
Uniformly speaking, Kelly.
Exactly. But do you remember it? It was not magical.
Kinda.
And then I want to say maybe 10 years ago ish, they've changed to like that sparkly pewter and like red. Like it's fierce now.
Yeah, I like it now a lot.
It might have even been a bit longer than that since they've changed. But yeah, but I remember back in like the day in the 90s, not happening.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So that was my sport questions. You're welcome.
And we
Thank
did
you.
not get anything right.
0.
We-
By the way, quick shout out to Rachel. As we know, she sends us messages every week. She recaps the entire show in her message. And she actually, I love it, because I think it was last week or the week before where I had asked a question that I'd already asked. And she goes, yes, Kelly, you've asked that one before.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah. Are we doing listener mail now or do we jump to billboards? What are we doing?
Let's do billboards then and listener mail.
Okay, great. Actually, and then you know what? I think after you do billboards, you're going to need to go into Diddy because I think it'll be a nice segue.
Okay, that's a fair.
Yeah. There was lots of love for Janet because that was her birthday weekend.
Oh,
So
was
yeah.
it?
her birthday was the 16th and the awards were the 15th. And she looked amazing. So Sharon, I know you haven't had a chance to see this yet, but you have to see the ensemble that she was wearing. She looked absolutely stunning. And you have to see her heels that she was wearing, like
yeah?
the platform. Oh my God, they're sick. If you actually go to her Instagram at Janet Jackson, they put a little video of her coming out of the hotel, getting ready to be driven to the arena.
Yeah.
And she just stunning. And she was so eloquent with her commentary for Mary. Like you could tell that she was really excited to have Mary win this honor, which
That's
was really
cool.
cool. And it was so cool to see these two legendary artists like on stage together, showing the love for each other. It was great.
Mhm. It's not a hard thing to do. I think the industry for a long time relied on creating tension between artists as a means of like, find your camp and support that artist. But man, there's so much music in the world that we miss that, when you're just fighting for one or two people, and you don't have to fight. You can like whatever you like.
Mhm.
And you don't want to miss anything.
I should also
So-
mention too, when Janet was announced to come out, that because again, it was a big surprise. Like her hardcore fans knew about 24 hours in advance that she was in Vegas, so that the likelihood of her showing up at the billboards was kind of high, but it hadn't been announced. Like nobody knew who was going to present Mary with the Icon Award. And when Janet came out, people kept clapping so long that like she had to kind of wait again for them to stop so she
Mhm.
could start. And one of the people that was losing their minds was Doja Cat. Like she
Oh, cool.
was doing this, like she had her hands up to her, like she was like, I can't believe it. Like it was really, it's so cool to see artists that are like, at the top of the world right now, on top of the charts, like a Doja Cat,
Yeah,
seeing Janet and going bananas.
that's cool.
Yeah. I
That's
have a
cool.
commentary about the host, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So Diddy Sean Combs was the host and the executive producer.
Yeah.
And I love him. I think he's great. And he's obviously a very astute businessman because he's like a billionaire and all that kind of stuff. And he has announced, like he did announce that he's coming back with new music, which I think will be great.
Mhm.
And that I know you have a story coming up, but I wanted to say that he totally went off the rails at the beginning of the award show and said that he didn't want the teleprompter, that award shows are boring, that he was going to liven it up and all that stuff. But then he proceeded to spend like the next, 90 seconds to 3 minutes, basically shouting out how awesome he was.
Oh man.
like I don't even think he knew that he was doing it. Like it was just so funny because he was like, and I changed the game or whatever he was saying,
That's
And
why
then,
we have a script.
yeah. And then I kept thinking, because as you and I know, Sharon, and so does Adam, being a producer, like, and even I think at one point addressed the producers, like saying like, don't talk to my in my ear, like I'm doing my thing,
Mhm.
but I kept thinking to myself, somebody should tell him to stop.
Yeah, wrap it up. We
Like
get it.
get to the awards. So, but you just kind of have to love him because he's so like flamboyant and like woo, and he's like ready to party and have a good time. And he did spread a lot of joy and love for the artist, which was cool.
I'm down with confidence because you need it in any business, in
Mhm.
any area of your life. But there's sometimes where it's okay for other people to say nice things about you. And it comes off as more genuine when you can just receive the compliments,
Yeah.
P. Diddy.
He had some great costume changes also.
Oh, good.
He always has great fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just one branch of his entrepreneurialism.
Yeah.
Huh?
And before
Yes.
you launch into a story, I will say that he gave out some good advice. He said to his, the fans and the people there, he said, don't ever forget about your first love. And he said, my first love is music, so I'm getting back to it.
So there you go. Brand new album, probably I think it's 16 years since the last album, called Press Play will be coming out on his brand new label. The label is called Love Records. So it's all about love. His first love music, new album, long time.
Isn't that crazy though, that his last album was, I believe, 2006, Press Play. That was his last album. That's crazy.
Press Play was the last album?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought Press Play was the new one. Sorry, the new one. Okay. My bad. I thought I read that wrong. I'm not up with my P. Diddy info. And I thought Press Play was the new one coming out. So I guess the important part of this story is A, that there's a new label, which will mean B, more work for P. Diddy, but also within the busy schedule, he found time to change his middle name. So I guess he's done enough changing of his name in all. But in case you've forgotten, John was his middle name. It's now Love.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it Brother Love for a hot minute, like 2 years ago? Remember that?
There was somebody else called Brother Love though. So
yeah, we talked about it on the show, that because it was like this big cryptic announcement, like, I'm changing my name, and then he was like Brother Love for like 9 minutes.
Like, come on, dial it back, pal. What I liked about what he said about the album, he says, for the label, I'm focused on creating timeless R&B music with the next generation of artists and producers. Motown is a perfect partner for his album, and he's excited to add it to his legacy. So that's cool.
I think it'll be amazing, him with Motown. Like, I think that's a great fit, and absolutely. And I cannot wait to hear, because, he knows many things. Clearly, he's a billionaire. But he knows how to pick the right songs for people, and he knows how to find the right sample, usually, to build that song around. So I think this could be good.
Hopefully he'll manage, some humility in there also. I think Motown knew a thing or two before P. Diddy was even born.
I bet you he and Kanye can't be in the same room together because their head won't fit through the door.
Not enough oxygen for the rest of us. What did I want to tell? You know what else we talked about? This is kind of a quick story about the Gallagher brothers, Noel and Liam. That after all this time of talking about their feud, that it's been about 10 years since they've actually seen each other.
Wow.
So that's the surprising, not so surprising bit of information. Because I guess time flies when you're having fun, or not. Liam Gallagher said the last time he saw Noel was at a football match about 10 years ago. It's a shame, isn't it? Is what he said. And then added, quote, the good times outweigh the bad times. I think it's best to just leave it at that, end quote.
Didn't he also say later on in that article that that he mentioned how everyone said how big the band is, but that there was more work to be done, and it's too bad they didn't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They weren't done, and their egos got in the way, as is usually the case.
Yeah.
No egos for Winona Judd. Likely their family taken out at the knees with the passing of Naomi. But the shows will go on. They had 10 dates booked to start at the end of September, and Winona made the announcement during a tribute to Naomi the other night, saying, I will continue to sing. I said I would, so I've made a decision, and I thought I'd share it on national television, that after a lot of thought, I'm going to have to honor her and do this tour. She did go on to say, I'm just going to have to, because that's what you would want. And Bono once told me, give them what they want, not what you want. Great quote. That's encouraging. Kind of pushes you through when you need the push.
Yeah.
And
I think it'll be great. She's going to kill it. She's such a rock star. I love Winona. Like,
no kidding.
She's fierce.
Yeah. It's amazing to watch. We were watching some of those clips. Maybe that's what we were doing on Sunday also, in between the Junos and
not
playoff
Billboard.
Hockey and not watching Billboard. There was a lot going on for one night, that's for sure. But watching her conduct herself in that arena of people just there to support the family, remember Naomi, and we'll get that show. I'm not sure what the date is on that we'll get it, that we won't have to watch little clips on YouTube. We'll get to see the whole show. And it's kind of wild that we're coming up on 32 years since the release of Love Can Build a Bridge, which was their 6th and final album. The title track of that one actually is one of those songs that has lasting impact and remains as important today as it ever was. So with that in mind, I figure 32 years, we could go back to the very beginning of our favorite decade for our 90s rewind.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, bro. 1990 it is. So you've got the Judds on the mind. That's fine. How about we put a little Roxette in the mix?
Ooh.
Roxette found their way onto the soundtrack of Pretty Woman with It Must Have Been Love. That song too, quite timeless. How about Aerosmith? There's another survivor as a band. They always had a way with rocking the power ballad, and What It Takes fit the bill, that from the Pump album. And talk about big ballads. Michael Bolton also took on the tough questions. How can we be lovers if we can't be friends? How? I guess we'll never know. And you know what? You can't have a 1990 rewind and not bring up Janet, eh, Kel?
Oh
Is that all right with you?
It's all right
with me. Yeah. How, you know what? How could you not remember the fun that Janet Jackson brought with All Right? It was happening quite a lot around this time, which would have been around her birthday at that time. And if we can wrap up this 90s rewind with some sound advice, the hits just keep on coming. Belle Biv DeVoe, the classic Never Trust a Big Butt and a Smile. Poison still holds up. So does the wisdom that comes along with that lyric. And you can hear the influence on guys like Bruno Mars through Belle Biv DeVoe. Now you know. And that's your 90s rewind.
Thank you.
Perfecto. Before I get to listener mail, 2 things about the Janet. So she, the night before Billboard, she saw Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, their show in Vegas. And of course she was backstage, and both Bruno and Anderson took a picture with her, and they both like posted it to their Instagrams, losing their marbles that they were with Miss Jackson, which was very cool.
That's neat.
She also had a birthday celebration, which was very cool. And it was crazy. The people that were at her birthday celebration: Usher, Jermaine Dupri, Jimmy Jam, who else? The list goes on. Like the list goes on who was at this birthday party for her. And it's just like, I love that people just love, celebrating Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
And so and also, by the way, I'm not going to give the surprise away too much, but I recently spoke to I'll call her a former colleague of Janet's. She'll be focused on one of our upcoming Kelly Alexander Show interviews. And I've never had her on the show before. And it was amazing to hear her say, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but Janet's everything that you hope her to be and more, which was like, she's like, I've worked with a lot of other artists, and she's like, not everybody, like what their public persona is not what you always get behind the scenes.
Wow.
And with Janet, it's that.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was cool. And so listener mail, first of all, a little ginger bear action for Adam.
Uh-oh.
He still says you're gorgeous, Adam.
Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe give a little wink to Ginger Bear over in New Zealand. And then also we got, so for our listeners, our OG Kentucky Shane, who's been with us since like the beginning of time, since we started the show. He has finally started to watch us.
Oh, cool.
On our visual podcast. And he said that when he saw us the other day and got his shout out, that it was on a day that he needed it. So I thought that was really cool. So Shane, we love you. And then
Thanks,
Sharon, this is the big news for you.
Big news.
Your listener, Carolyn Jones, who listens to you on the actual radio station, Shom.
She's good people.
She's good people. So she's now started watching our podcast, our visual podcast.
Cool. Hi, Carolyn.
And she loves it so much. And she says we have a great vibe and a whole cool, and she loves Adam. She loves me. She loves Sharon. And she said that she has now passed it along to her trivia fans or friends.
Oh, cool.
So she's like, I think we're going to have a bunch more people watching the show from Sharon's trivia show. So
well, that's fun. That was the thing that we did in the pandemic, when that whole thing started, when the lockdown happened and we had nowhere to go and nothing to do. I started doing trivia, as did you on your station. And what happened with us, we stayed every week for 79 rounds of trivia. Like we missed a couple of occasions. Maybe I was on vacation and didn't have good Wi-Fi. I think I took Christmas Eve off in those times, but we did New Year's Eve ones, which was super fun. And then I got a new job, and the thought of I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't put it all together to keep trivia going and then get up at 10 to 4 in the morning every day. It's not completely shut down, but they've created their own little thing, this group, the Trivia Fam, that they have weekly trivia. So it's super cool that this great big group of people that came together through COVID and through just wanting to, do something fun, which was the whole reason why we did trivia. It's this big thing that they do every week. So I think it's really, I'm proud to be associated with that kind of positivity.
That's awesome. That was my big news, Sharon.
Well, I love it. Thanks, Kel.
Yep.
Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks, Trivia Fam.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, you guys. And thank you guys, everybody, for finding us wherever it is that you do. If it's on YouTube, thanks. If it's wherever you find your podcast, thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. Wherever you are in the world, hey, let us know where you are in the world. And ultimately, thank you very much for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.